Joining me now, Julia Manchester, national politics reporter with our partners at The Hill. Welcome to you. So I'm just seeing my producer sending me, Jim Jordan sent a letter to all House GOP colleagues asking for unity. And he said, quote, "The country and our conference cannot afford us attacking each other right now. It is time we unite and get back to work on behalf of the American people." He understands the timing of this so important. But Julia, does he have enough support, the support he claims he has, to get this done?
Yeah, look, it's going to be right now, it's really hit or miss for Jim Jordan. We know that he's flipped three key holdouts: Mike Rogers, Ken Calver, and Ann Wagner, three Republicans who have previously said that they would not necessarily support Jordan. So he has that support. But at the same time, there are some other holdouts, including Congressman Carlos Jimenez from Florida, who has still, despite the fact that Kevin McCarthy himself said he would support Jim Jordan, Congressman Jimenez is saying that he will still support Kevin McCarthy or vote for Kevin McCarthy. So it's going to be definitely a very hit or miss kind of time for Jim Jordan here. But, you know, if you're looking at it from the political perspective, based off of that letter he sent to his conference, he's absolutely right. Right now, Republicans can't afford to have this. There could be a government shutdown next month. There's this war happening in Israel, in Gaza. And then, of course, you have the midterms next year, and a lot of Republicans vulnerable going into that election. So very important time for the GOP to sort of get their act together here.
And one name that we hear as part of this discussion is Mike Johnson. He serves as chair of the subcommittee on the Constitution and limited government. He said he would fully back Jordan and work to get him elected as speaker, but anything could happen here. Is he a viable candidate?
We do know that there's some reporting saying that he is laying the groundwork for a potential speakership candidacy if this doesn't work for Jim Jordan. And based off of what's happened over the past couple of weeks, anything could happen here. And, we could see this go to the floor and it take multiple rounds to get Jordan through as speaker. Like McCarthy, he could eventually make it through, but there's always the chance he can't, because the majority for Republicans against Democrats is so narrow. So I think a lot of Republicans have Plan B in mind, because there's been so many twists and turns in this saga.
Right. So Plan B, C, D, E. I mean, you could go on and on. So if neither of those two were able to get the votes, talk about some of the other possible contenders.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other possible contenders we've heard floated, but right now I think Jim Jordan has been, right now, at least in the public conversation, all of the attention is on Jim Jordan. I'm sure we'll see other potential contenders throw their hats in the ring or signal they might throw their hats in the ring if Jim Jordan doesn't make it. But right now, I think the priority is getting through, this next phase.
So former President Trump has endorsed Jim Jordan. Kevin McCarthy says he's going to do what he can to have him elected as House Speaker. Those who are holding out, you mentioned Mike Rogers, Representative Jimenez. What is their biggest concern with Jim Jordan?
Well, I think their concern right now is that he can't unite the conference, and they're concerned about the state of the conference right now, that there isn't enough, there's too much, saying one thing to appease someone and turning around and doing something else. I think there's also a concern among more moderate Republicans that Jim Jordan is simply too conservative. Remember, he was a member of the Freedom Caucus. He's a major member of that caucus, and he's seen as a very much a firebrand conservative. We know also, we haven't seen this talked about as much, but there was some concern voiced about during Jim Jordan's time at Ohio State University and the wrestling controversy he was involved in, and whether he knew about a sexual abuse that took place. So we've heard that mentioned somewhat, but I think right now the main concern is that, he could be too right-leaning for a lot of these moderates.
Yeah, and will it take 15 votes to elect him Speaker? We shall see. What are Democrats saying, Julia, right now about this?
Yeah, well, Democrats seem very united around voting for Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader, even though Hakeem Jeffries it's very unlikely that he will become speaker. Democrats are voting for him, obviously, to keep their conference together. And obviously it's unlikely that he'll become speaker because Democrats aren't in the majority in the chamber. But Democrats are also using this from a political perspective to hit Republicans, saying, we're in this tragic situation, horrific situation between Israel and Gaza. You have a government shutdown that's right around the corner, and this is where Republicans are. Look at us, we're Democrats, we're unified. So they're going to very much use that to draw a distinction between both conferences.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.